The wind howled through the snow-laden pines, carrying with it an eerie silence. Deep in the Alaskan wilderness, a lone figure moved through the drifts, silent, focused, relentless. His name was Ghost, a white Siberian husky with striking blue eyes that shimmered like ice under the moonlight. Ghost wasn't an ordinary rescue dog. He had an uncanny ability, something his handler, Ethan Carter, had noticed early on. Ghost could sense danger before it struck, like a whisper on the wind only he could hear. It was this gift that had saved countless lives. Tonight, something was wrong. Ethan sat by the crackling fire in their small outpost cabin, sipping coffee, when Ghost suddenly stood, ears erect, body tense. A low whine escaped his throat. Ethan frowned. "What is it, boy?" Ghost turned toward the door, pacing. Then he let out a sharp bark and pawed at it. Ethan knew better than to ignore him. He pulled on his heavy coat, grabbed his flashlight, and stepped outside. The night was thick with falling snow, visibility low. Ghost bolted forward, nose to the ground, his body language urgent. Ethan followed, trudging through knee-deep drifts, his breath coming out in frozen clouds. They had been hiking for nearly an hour when Ghost suddenly stopped. Ethan lifted his light, scanning ahead. A cabin, or what was left of one. The roof had caved in under the weight of the snow. Smoke no longer curled from the chimney. There were no lights inside. Ghost barked, digging frantically at the snow near the collapsed doorway. Ethan's heart pounded. Someone was inside. He dropped to his knees, shoveling snow away with his hands. "Hello? Can anyone hear me?" A faint, muffled cry answered. Ghost whined and dug faster. Ethan pulled his radio from his pocket. "Dispatch, this is Carter. I found a collapsed cabin near Eagle Ridge. I need an emergency response team, now." "Copy that, Carter. Help is en route. ETA 20 minutes. They didn't have 20 minutes. Ethan grabbed the emergency shovel strapped to his pack and began digging. Ghost worked beside him, his strong paws clawing at the frozen debris. Minutes felt like hours as they carved a narrow opening through the wreckage. Finally, Ethan spotted movement, a small hand, trembling. A child. "Hang on, kid. I got you." He reached in, grasping the child's arm, and gently pulled. A little girl, no older than 6, emerged from the snow, shivering violently. Her lips were blue, her tiny hands like ice. She clung to Ethan, her voice barely above a whisper. "Mommy and Daddy, they're still inside." Ethan's gut twisted. "We'll get them out, sweetheart. I promise." He wrapped her in his coat and set her aside before turning back to the wreckage. Ghost was already digging deeper, his instincts guiding him. Moments later, another hand appeared, a woman's. Ethan grabbed hold, pulling with all his strength. A woman, barely conscious, gasped as she surfaced from the snow. She coughed, her breath. "He's still." Ghost barked sharply, leaping onto another section of debris. He whined and started scratching furiously. Ethan's pulse surged. "I'm coming, buddy." With renewed determination, Ethan shoveled faster, clearing away the snow and splintered wood. Then, beneath a collapsed beam, he saw him, a man, motionless, half buried. Ethan pressed his fingers to the man's neck. A pulse. Faint, but there. Ghost whined, nudging Ethan as if urging him to hurry. Ethan carefully shifted the beam, muscles straining. With one final effort, he freed the man, pulling him into the open air. The woman sobbed, clutching her daughter, as Ethan checked for injuries. The distant wail of sirens cut through the wind. Help had arrived. Ethan turned to Ghost, who stood beside him, his white fur dusted with snow, his blue eyes reflecting the moonlight. He reached out, running a gloved hand over the dog's head. "You did it, boy." Ghost wagged his tail once, then lifted his head, ears twitching as if listening for another whisper on the wind.